Hey everybody, MidLife Draftee here. Now, I usually do silly videos about getting older and things along that nature, but today I came across a news clip video that I couldn't I couldn't believe that it was out there. I'm going to set this up for you, and we'll just watch it. You may have seen it, but with everything going on right now, it might have just slipped right on by. So I'm just going to throw it in here. I've seen it once or twice, but every time I watch it, I'm just blown away. So let me go ahead and set it up, and we'll play it. It is a clip of part of a press conference from the World Health Organization. It was either today or yesterday. I'm not sure, but let's just get into it. You're reading that, right?
We hear from a number of countries that X percentage of them are reported as not having symptoms, or that they are in their pre-symptomatic phase, which means it's a few days before they actually develop severe symptoms. In a number of countries, when we go back and we discuss with them, one, how are these asymptomatic cases being identified? Many of them are being identified through contact tracing. And so, which is what we would want to see, in that you have a known case, you find your contacts, they're already in quarantine, hopefully, and some of them are tested, and then you pick up people who may have asymptomatic or no symptoms or even mild symptoms. The other thing we're finding is that when we actually go back and say how many of them were truly asymptomatic, we find out that many have really mild disease, very mild disease. They're not quote-unquote COVID symptoms, meaning they may not have developed fever yet, they may not have had a significant cough, or they may not have shortness of breath, but some may have mild disease. Having said that, we do know that there can be people that are truly asymptomatic and PCR positive.
I think PCR positive just means they've actually had the test and they've come back positive for COVID. I tried to do a Google search, but all the results, they were confusing to me because, I'm old and I don't understand things. But I think that's what it is. Look it up if you're not. Don't take my word for it. That's what I think it is. If it's not, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to. Whatever. Moving on.
The second part of your question is what proportion of asymptomatic individuals actually transmit. So the way that we look at that is we look at these individuals need to be followed carefully over the course of when.
All right, she's starting to stumble and stutter because she's getting ready to say what she has to say, and I don't blame her. If I had to be the one to drop this one out there after what's been going on the last 3 months, I'd be doing the same thing.
They're detected and looking at secondary transmission. We have a number of reports from countries who are doing very detailed contact tracing. They're following asymptomatic cases, they're following contacts, and they're not finding secondary transmission onward. It's very rare.
Did she just say what I think she said? I think she did.
And that much of that is not published in the literature. From the papers that are published, there's one that came out from Singapore, looking at a long-term care facility. There are some household transmission studies where you follow individuals over time and you look at the proportion of those that transmit onwards. We are constantly looking at this data, and we're trying to get more information from countries to truly answer this question. It still appears to be rare that an asymptomatic individual actually transmits onward.
It's rare that an asymptomatic person transmits onward. Meaning everything they've been telling us for the last 3 months is 180 degrees the other direction. Not true? I don't know. Moving on.
What we really want to be focused on is following the symptomatic cases. If we followed all of the symptomatic cases, because we know that this is a respiratory pathogen, it passes from an individual through infectious droplets. If we actually followed all of the symptomatic cases, isolated those cases, followed the contacts and quarantined those contacts, we would drastically reduce. I would love to be able to give a proportion of how much transmission we would actually stop, but it would be a drastic reduction in transmission.
Isolate the sick people and less people will get sick. Makes sense. But then again, I think that's always made sense. Moving on.
If we could focus on that, I think we would do very, very well in terms of suppressing transmission.
Probably.
But from the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
There it is. That's what I stumbled across today, and I'm not sure how many people have seen it. That's why I'm throwing it out there. More people, I think, need to see this one. But I don't know what to say about it. The WHO has had their issues, and this might be another one. This could be either really great news, and we're all just bent out of shape because we got stuck in the house for 3 months for no reason, or they could be full of shit and we all go woohoo and phase 2 comes out. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there because I saw it. I thought maybe if you hadn't seen it, you could take a look at it too. Anyways, that's what I did. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.